everyone. Welcome to the Majestic Talk Show. I'm your host, Latasha Morgan, certified Christian life coach, certified professional life coach, board certified master Christian mental health coach, and a whole lot of other goodies, honey. We have today Tiffany Trotter here on the Majestic Talk Show. She is a certified financial educational instructor, and she is the owner and founder of Brave Self Starter. Let's welcome her to the show. Okay, our topic for today is money matters. Tiffany is going to talk to you and let you know about herself, and give you a little information. But she's also going to take the show today, and she's going to talk about finance. Okay. All right. So Tiffany, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Latasha, for having me. Let me go ahead and share my screen or get that up for you guys. So today we're going to talk about financial wellness and how you can achieve financial wellness in your own life, especially these days. Things are getting really tough, and financial wellness is such a key and important part. And we're going to go through a 3-step framework. Before we get started, I would love to introduce myself. So, as Latasha said, I'm a certified financial education instructor. And what that means is I love helping people with their personal finance, money management, as well as budgeting. And I'm also a financial wellness and career coach at Task Human as well. So, today we're going to be talking about money and stress. We're going to be getting into what exactly is financial wellness, and we're going to be talking about how you can achieve financial wellness today. And then we're going to also look at how you can start to create your own financial wellness roadmap. And then we're going to get into some discussions with Latasha as well. So let's get started. So according to the American Psychological Association, 72% of Americans reported feeling stressed about money. And other statistics show 73% of Americans rank finances as the number one stress in their life. 90% of Americans say money impacts their stress level in some way, shape, or form. So from these stats, we can see that money is something that really impacts us, and it's causing us to feel stressed out and worried, especially here in the US. And question for you guys, you can drop your comments in the chat. Have you ever felt stressed about money? I know that I've definitely felt stressed about money, and many of my clients have also felt the same way as well. So you can go ahead in the chat and let us know if you've ever felt stressed about money. And the thing about money is, why does it worry us so much? Well, it's because it impacts all areas of our lives. Money can impact our health. It can have an impact on our overall happiness and well-being. It can have an impact on our lifestyle, our sense of security. It can even really attack our confidence. And it can also have an impact on our relationships, our freedom, and the way how we feel about ourselves. So as we can see, money is something that impacts all areas of our lives. And this is one of the reasons why it's such a touchy subject and why it can cause us to feel worried or stressed out at times. But is it really the money that's stressing us? Is it really money that causes us to feel stressed? After all, money is just paper. Well, it's actually the relationship with money. So it's our relationship with money and our money habits that really, really cause us to feel stressed out and overwhelmed or worried. And we establish these relationships very early on in life. And these are impacted by the environment that we grew up in and the things that we saw around us or see around us today. And so what we find is that we start these money mindsets from very early on in life. And we really start to see how money fits into our daily lives. So these early experiences with money really lay the foundation for our relationship with money and how we view and interact with money. So a question for everybody here in the audience, you can feel free to drop it in the chat. What is your relationship with money? Is it good? Does it need improvement? Are you pretty neutral? Go ahead and let me know in the chat. I know most of my clients always say it needs improvement, and I agree. Sometimes there's always room for improvement. But it's before we improve our relationship with money, it's important for us to understand how we relate to money and how we view money and see money. So, according to the Klantz money scripts, these are core beliefs about money that impact and drive our financial behavior. So, basically, we have four different quadrants or four different groups that really identify how we relate to money. So, we have the first one, which is money avoidant. So, these are people who believe that money is bad, it's not important, and you don't deserve it. So this can come from cultural background or how they grew up. They might see money as the root of all evil, or they might think that people who are wealthy or rich are evil. So they tend to avoid money. They tend to stay away from it because they think it's bad. And then you have a second group of people called money worship. So they believe that the more money you have, or the more things you have, the happier you'll be. So they worship money and they think if they have more money, they'll be happier, which we all know is not necessarily the case. Then we have people who look at money as a status symbols. So they believe that your self-worth is tied to your net worth. So they look at money for status, to show how important they are and to really display their place in society. So that's why they think money is important. And then you have a fourth group who are money vigilant. So these people believe that money should be saved. So a lot of us have one or two areas as far as our relationship with money. Some of us think money is bad, so we don't think about it. We kind of tend to ignore things that can happen, financial situations. And so we avoid it overall. Some of us actually worship money because we think the more money we have, the happier we'll be. Some of us look at money as a status symbol. We see wealthy people, we see people in society with money, and we think that you need to have money in order to have a good net worth or to look at yourself in a positive way. And then we have people who are a little bit more vigilant and they're a little bit better with money. So as you're thinking about improving your financial wellness journey, you have to really start to dig deep and think about what is your relationship with money. Do you tend to avoid it? Do you worship it? Do you view it as a status symbol? Or are you more on the money vigilant side of things? So as you think about your relationship, you realize that money can really have an impact on your overall well-being. And this is why financial wellness has become such a hot button topic over the last couple of years. Especially since the pandemic, a lot of people have been talking about financial wellness. And financial wellness is really a state of being where you can meet your current and your future financial obligations. You feel secure in your financial future, and you're able to make choices that allow you to enjoy your life. So when you think about financial wellness, it really dives into security and your freedom of choice. So there are four key areas: security, freedom of choice in the present and the future. So as you think about your own financial wellness, it's having that security now, meaning that you have that control over your day-to-day, your month-to-month expenses. You're able to pay your bills and you're able to feel comfortable and secure. And then also you feel secure in the future that if something was to happen, if an emergency came up, maybe if you even, God forbid, lost your job, you have the ability to absorb a financial emergency or shock. Then we also dive into that freedom of choice. So here we see financial freedom to make the choices that allow us to enjoy life. So whether we want to go on a trip or we want to do certain things, we're able to make those choices here and now. And of course, as we think about the future, we're on track to meet our future financial goals. So as you think about your financial wellness journey, you want to think about feeling secure and having that freedom of choice. So those are some of the key areas of financial wellness. And today, what we're going to dive into is a 3-step framework that you can use to achieve financial wellness. So these steps include, you're going to first, number 1, identify your goals. 2, assess where you are. And then, of course, 3, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take action. And we're going to dive into each of these topics here as well. So the first step in terms of your financial wellness journey is identifying your goals. So when you think about financial health and wellness, these are tied directly to your personal goals. So this is where you want to really take some time to reflect. What is the lifestyle you want to create for yourself and your family? Why is creating that lifestyle important to you? And what are the core values that drive who you are? So when you think about financial wellness, it really gets personal. And that's why you really have to understand why it's important for you to earn a certain amount. Why are these goals? Why is this money important to you as far as helping you to achieve your personal goals? So it gets really personal and it taps into your dreams and your aspirations, your core values, and the things that matter most to you. So when we think about our dreams and our aspirations, this is what really helps you to define and set out what your financial goals are. So for example, if your personal goal is buying a dream car, then of course that financial goal would translate to saving for your down payment. If your personal goal is to own your first home, then of course saving for that down payment. If overall your personal goal is to feel less stressed out, that might mean paying off credit card. So we can see here that there is a direct correlation between your personal goals and your financial goals. And you should use your personal goals to help you to define your financial goals. So when we think about our financial wellness journey, the first step is really identifying and understanding your goals and why these goals are important to you. So go ahead and let me know in the chat, what are some of your personal and financial goals? For some people, it's sending their children to college. For some people, it's paying off their mortgage. Some people, it's sending their first child to college. That would be the first child in their family to go to college. So that's a personal thing. And of course, saving up for that tuition. So go ahead and let me know in the chat what some of your personal and financial goals are. And as we're thinking about goals, sometimes it can be difficult for us to really pinpoint our goals, but it's important for you to identify those goals. And one way to do that, of course, is, grab good old pen and paper, write it down. So you want to make a list of all your personal and professional goals. You want to write down why these goals are important to you. And then it's gonna allow you to start to think about how you can make these goals a reality. One framework that you can use, of course, is a SMART goal framework. So SMART goals is a common framework used to help you craft your goals to ensure it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and realistic. So when you're thinking about goals, you got to get specific. You have to tie it to a number. You have to set it to where it's attainable for you. Because remember, we all have different circumstances and different situations, and we don't want to set a goal that we can't achieve. So you want to make sure it's achievable, it's attainable. You want to make sure it's realistic, and you also want to set a timeline for that goal. So whether your goal is to save a certain amount by the end of the year, get specific with that number. Of course, knowing why you want to save that money is important. And then, of course, getting specific as well. The second step, of course, is going to be assessing where you are now. So as we're thinking about financial wellness, number one, you need to know what your goals are. And this is where you're going to take a step back and examine where you are now. And so you can assess and start to visualize that path forward. So number one, identify your goals. Number two, take a look. Where are you now? What is going on now with my personal finances? So here you're going to want to look at 4 key areas. Number one, your relationship with money, which we spoke about a little bit earlier, your savings and your emergency fund, your income and expenses, and your debt. So you're going to want to dive into those areas, assess where you are now. So again, the relationship with money, that's that mental mindset. That's that mental thing that you really need to get clear on if you're going to be achieving financial wellness. Because remember, some of it is some mental things that hold us back is mental. And the factors that impact that relationship with money is generational impact, what you saw happening at home with your mom and dad, the environment, your role models. Even the media and advertising can impact your relationship with money, your education as far as personal finance education, and even negative experiences. So, for example, if you had credit card debt or if you were in a negative financial situation, that can have a big impact, and it can hold you back from having a positive money mindset. So getting clear on where you are with money and starting to work through those things is the first area that you need to tackle when it comes to assessing where you are. So go ahead and let me know in the chat, what are some of your early experiences that you can remember that have had an impact on how you view money? I know for me, when I was growing up, my dad was very much only gave affirmation when it came to saving. So like, he didn't really give much affirmation to me as a child, but when I saved, he was like, wow, you're just like my mom, she loves to save. So as a result, I tend to be someone who saves a lot because I got that positive reinforcement when I was younger. But some people might have some other experiences that really impacted how they view money. And again, with my personal experience, it's good and bad, because obviously it's good to save, but maybe you're saving too much. So you always have to have that balance as you're thinking about your relationship with money. And of course, negative influences impact our relationship with money, and they manifest themselves in different ways that we may not even be aware of. It can cause us to have a negative financial mindset. Remember, we said we want to focus on having a positive money mindset. It can also cause us to have a low confidence in ourselves. It can cause us to feel stressed, as we mentioned earlier, insecure, and it can burden us in the long term as far as financial hardships. So again, the money part, the mindset part is so key when it comes to financial wellness. The next area you're going to want to take a deep dive in is your savings and your emergency fund. So this is where you're going to want to take stock of your savings. Do you have savings? Do you have an emergency fund? And how much cash do you have saved? How much should you have saved? Well, experts recommend having at least 3 to 6 months of your salary saved in reserve for emergencies. And of course, this is just a number that's put out there. You need to work with what you have. Not everybody can put away 3 to 6 months right away. So it's something you're going to have to assess based on your current financial situation, but you should still be trying to save something in case of an emergency, and you need to know where you are with that as well. The next area you're going to want to take stock of is your income and your expenses. So here you're going to want to dive into how much you have coming in, how much you have going out. And of course, knowing is half the battle. So according to a recent mint.com survey, 65% of Americans said they don't know how much money they spent last month. And this is a key area for many of my clients that I've worked with. They just don't know where their money is going because they're buying things, they have subscriptions, they're using their credit card. And sometimes at the end of the month or the day, they don't know exactly what and where their money went. And of course, it's important for you to know what you're spending on. So knowing how much you're earning, how much you're spending each month will help you to make those key financial decisions or make adjustments to your finances as needed. It might seem very simple, but again, a lot of us are not really taking stock. So go ahead and let me know if you know exactly how much you spent last month. Comment yes or no in the chat. The next thing that can help you with knowing how much you're spending, how much you're earning, it's called a personal cash flow statement. And I like to think of it as a different approach to budgeting. So sometimes when it comes to personal finance and wellness, a lot of people don't want to budget because they feel like they don't want to feel limited. They don't want to, feel held down by a budget each month. But I like to recommend a personal cash flow statement. It breaks down the inflow of money as well as the outflow of money during a specific time period. So unlike budgeting, you do it to see exactly how you allocated your income and expenses each month. So you're really doing it to see what are your spending patterns, what are your money patterns, how are you allocating your income, how are you spending? And this will help you to determine how much you're making, how much money you're spending on your day-to-day expenses. It's also going to help you to see patterns that you can address, because like I said, if we're not able to visually see it, we're spending, but we don't know where it's going, it's hard for us to make those little changes that can have a big impact on our financial wellness. Here is an example of a cash flow statement. So of course, up top, you have your income. If you are a single household, you would put your income. But if you're married or if you have another person contributing to the income, you're going to put both income up here or just yours. Of course, your main source of income and any other source of income that you have coming in, whether it's a side hustle or some other area, you're going to want to put all the money that you're bringing in that month here. Then you're going to also have your expenses. So the expenses is where you're going to list out every single expense that you have that month. So whether it's your rent, your insurance, your electric bill, how much you're spending on gas, how much you're spending on your phone, you want to make a list and put every single thing here. And it's really easy to get access to these with your bank records. If you use a credit card, if you use a debit card, you're going to be really easily able to grab this information and put it into a spreadsheet. And so after you finish listening out, this is where a lot of my clients see, oh my goodness, I'm spending this amount on restaurants, I'm spending this amount on eating out. Wow, I need to adjust that. Or wow, I have this subscription that I didn't even know I was paying. So again, this visual really gives you more details and data and helps you to make those adjustments. So the best part of the cash flow statement is you're going to be able to see if your cash flow positive or negative. So here you're going to see your total monthly income, and then you're minusing your expenses to see how much you have left over. And like I said, this is a very valuable piece of insight because you're going to be able to see, am I spending more than I'm earning, or am I earning enough to cover all of my spending? And this is something you're going to do over a 3-month period. So that way you're seeing the trends for those 3 months and you're making adjustments. And if you see that you're spending way more than you're earning, or you're spending more than you're earning, that's going to be a sign for you to make some adjustments. You either one, have to make more money, or two, you're going to have to cut back. So again, being able to see that visual, it's really an eye opener for a lot of my clients. The next thing you're going to want to do is take stock of the debt that you currently have. So a lot of us have debt, whether it's credit card, car loan, mortgage, or even student loan. So you're going to want to get clear on what the debt that you have and then come up with a strategy for managing your debt. So once you've identified all of the debt that you have, you're going to want to start to look at the interest payment for each of the debts. So the ones with the highest interest payment, you might want to pay that one off as soon as possible, because the average credit card interest rate is 16%. So if you're carrying a credit card balance, it's hard for you to pay it off because of that credit card interest. So you want to make sure you're tackling the debt with the highest interest rate as soon as possible. Other tips and strategies is you want to consolidate debt. So if you have multiple credit card debt, see if you can consolidate the debt. That way you can just start to pay it off a little bit more quickly. Sometimes you can even negotiate with creditors. So sometimes creditors are willing to work with you to provide payment plans or incentives to pay off your debt more quickly. So for example, hospital is a good example. You know, you might have had an emergency, you went to the hospital, you didn't have insurance, and of course you have that bill. You can call and try and work something out with them. I had a similar situation when I did not have insurance, and I had a car accident, and I got some small injuries. I had to go to a chiropractor, and I didn't realize how expensive it would be. So when I got the bill, it was like, wow. And what a lot of us tend to do sometimes is ignore it. But that's the worst thing you can do. You need to take action. So I ended up calling the doctor's office, and we came up with a plan where I could pay a lot less than I owed, but at least I would just pay it off. So again, when you're thinking about debt, You want to make sure you're tackling it head on and you're not ignoring it. And again, when it comes to debt management, there's different strategies. There's a snowball where you pay off the smallest first and then the biggest, or you tackle the ones with the highest interest rate. And that's what I would recommend, because the interest rates can really, really keep you down. Then the next step in your overall financial wellness journey is, of course, you need to take action. So after you have identified your financial goals that are tied to your personal goals, and after you have assessed where you are by looking at your relationship with money, your debt, and your income and your expenses, now it's time for you to determine what are the best steps forward. And again, by going through the first two things in the financial wellness journey, this is what's going to help you to make a clearer path forward, because you're going to be able to see, okay, I'm spending a lot more than I'm earning. Okay, well, obviously I need to earn more money, or I need to cut back on my expenses. And so you're going to be able to take action, whether that, or if you see that you have a negative money mindset, you might know you realize you need to improve your money management skills. Or you might see that you have extra money left over at the end of the month because your income is more than you're spending. You might look at investing, or you might look at ways to increase your income. So again, as you're thinking about your financial wellness journey, it's about really taking stock of those three key areas. And as we're thinking about earning more, because let's say we see that we're spending way more than we're earning, we can look at ways to increase our income, which could be learning a new skill, doing a side hustle, working on your career to get a promotion, or some people try entrepreneurship as well. So expenses are always on the rise with inflation. So that means your income should be too. And that's why it's important for you to start to think about ways that you can increase your income, especially now with inflation and everything going up. So whether that's trying to get a promotion at work, working with your manager to see what that path looks like, or learning a new skill that can get you a higher paying job, or starting something else that you have a skill set on the side. So again, as you're thinking about your own financial wellness journey, it's really all about feeling secure, feeling good about yourself and your money, and being able to plan for the future and feeling secure here in the present. So again, you can start these things today. As I said, step one, identify your goals. Your financial health and wellness are tied to your personal goals. Assessing where you are now. Before you can take those steps, you need to examine what's going on now. Where are you now? So you can start to visualize that path forward. Those data points are going to be key. And then, of course, you're going to take action. The best ways that you're going to move forward. How are you going to go ahead and achieve your financial goals? So these are just a few tips and strategies that you can use as you're thinking about financial wellness. And I'm going to turn it back over to Latasha, and we're going to have a quick conversation with her as well.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. That was great information, really great information. I hope that the people that watch this will get what they need from it. I'm sure they will, because I wrote a few notes, because this is like a therapy session here, because you said first you got to identify.
Yep.
Your goals, assess where you are, and then determine action steps.
Yeah.
And that's what we do when we are doing a therapy session. Or, well, not me as a therapist. I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach, but as a coach, that's what we do, because in order to move forward, you have to know where you are and where you're going. And that's amazing. And you also said about taking action, about paying your debts and not ignoring them, because we do that. We say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not gonna pay that. They'll be all right. So maybe later I'll get to it, and we just go through our mail and just pick which ones we're gonna pay today, then which one we're gonna pay the next time we get some money. And we all seen shows like that.
Yeah.
But ignoring the problem, whether it's mental health, finances, or whatever it may be, ignoring the problem has never worked.
Never.
It won't work. So there's no need to try it. Let's just fix the problem that we have.
Yeah,
And there are resources out there like you and other people that can help us fix the problems that we have.
definitely.
That may be beyond my abilities at the moment.
Oh well, Siri said she can't help y'all with it. Now that is funny. She can help with everything else, but she
But
can't
not
help
that.
with but sorry for that interruption. I guess I pressed my watch against myself or something. But it was funny. But she said she can't help you. So maybe Tiffany Trotter can, or someone else can help you with your finances. And I think right now it is important that we get our finances in order. Because when I was looking up some information, and I didn't do the statistics earlier because I wanted to give you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Looking through this, debt causes a lot of mental health issues.
Yes.
Causes anxiety.
Yep.
Can even cause people to commit suicide because they're not able to handle what's going to come down the line if they're not able to pay the bills. Losing a home, people lose their families over this.
Yes.
So I think having this show and being able to help people cope with their finances and getting their finances in order, and hopefully people take what you've said and put it to work and apply it to their lives.
Yes.
It's important because I think these simple things can actually just save the people lives and their families, even their businesses, because there are a lot of businesses closing because of financial problems. So
yep. And actually, when I talked about the personal cash flow statement, that came from a business concept, because any business have to have a healthy cash flow. I mean, they have money coming in, more money coming in than going out. So it's still a concept you can apply to your own personal life, because you have money coming in from your income, and you have to make sure you have more coming in than what you're spending.
That's amazing. So y'all, guess what? We only have a few minutes left, like 2 minutes left. Okay. So Tiffany, let them know how they can get in touch with you if they need help.
You can reach out to me at www.com, Brave Self Starter, www.braveselfstarter.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is under Tiffany Trotter. You can always connect there as well.
Yeah, Tiffany, it was so nice to meet you, and it's so
Same here.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I've learned a lot of things just listening to you. And like I said, I wanted to give you the show so that you can help somebody else, because I talk all the time. So this was good for you to help someone else with their financial problems, especially Black people, the Black and Brown community, everyone, period. So thank you all for watching the show today. This is Majestic Talk Show. I'm Latasha Morgan, certified Christian life coach, certified professional life coach, board certified master Christian mental health coach, and a whole lot of other goodies. We'll see you next time on the Majestic Talk Show. Have a nice night.
Take care. Bye.